faded, so what? Said fuck everything cause I'm jaded, so what? I did all this shit and ain't taking no love. That little part of my life fell in love with them drugs. Not taking shit back, I love who I'm becoming. Fuck that shit, shorty, we could be nothing. I'm back when I'm in Saudi, copping some dumb shit. Only want 10 out of 10s in the spot. Only want 10 out of 10s where you thought. $250,000, that's on this Richard pocket watch. Still flexing on niggas cause I know they watch. I wouldn't lie to you, yeah. No, I've been tired of you, yeah. You've been too all in my hair. You've been too all in my ear. You crashing out over a tree. I don't even know how to stare. But I don't know what to believe. Yeah, I don't even know how to care. No, I wanted you, but that was past tense. Done had a lot of hoes just on my accent. Carry my chopper, shorty, she is savage. Got a son for you, cause you ain't average. I be on gas fuel, take me out of delusional. Think I got it, cause I imagine it. Fashion shit, yeah, I mix it, I ain't mad, she a addict. But I'd rather say she passionate. Is this a bad time? Remember what happened last time. You better off being satisfied. We doing the same shit every time. Is this a bad time? Remember what happened last time. You better off being satisfied. We doing the same shit every time. Check my phone out, a hoe say she miss me. Smoking this gas got me feeling rich. When it comes to a freak, I ain't even picky. Juice off this fit, turn her to a pig. I still my twin Mordecai and Rick. You worry about tech, I give a nigga 50. What a broke nigga always got. That's something to say, but none of them niggas with me. Been blocking windows, I feel like I'm Wendy. No, she don't want Louis, she want a new Fendi. Can't open the text in the public no more. Ain't no way to predict like what she gon' send me. I'm not even doing the talking no more. I don't even think that they really gon' get me. I'm not getting rich, it do not concern me. Cause every day I feel like that really ready. I wouldn't lie to you, yeah. No, I've been tired of you, yeah. You've been too all in my hair. You've been too all in my ear. You crashing out over a tree. I don't even know how to stare. But I don't know what to believe. Yeah, I don't even know how to care. No, I wanted you, but that was past tense. Done had a lot of hoes just on my accent. Carry my chopper, shorty, she is savage. Got a son for you, cause you ain't average. I be on gas fuel, take me out of delusional. Think I got it, cause I imagine it. Fashion shit, yeah, I mix it, I ain't mad, she a addict. But I'd rather say she passionate.
Today, we're going to talk about the loaded college basketball slate, NBA and NHL winners, and we got to cash back-to-back squad rides. This is Behind the Lines. I mean, Chucky Hepburn had Boopy Miller in jail. It was tough to watch. Maybe the worst game I've ever seen. Boopy Miller missing layups left and right. Couldn't cover a parked car. You got Chucky Hepburn jacking up threes. Didn't have a chance because for some reason, I don't know why, but in hockey, a 2-goal lead is actually like losing. It might be worse than losing. You might as well be losing because a 2-goal lead is never safe.
This feels like a game where Ohio State can make this weirdly close, but it's a game where you look at it and you're like, okay, Purdue should dominate at home, and you turn it on because it's a tied game with 3 minutes left and Ohio State's fighting. I think this is going to be a close game when really on paper it shouldn't be at all.
And then I see this quote from the coach, his starting center, Tomislav. He literally said, deathly ill. The kid's sitting on your fucking bench. What are you talking about? He's deathly ill. He looks fine to me. And if he is that sick, why is he sitting next to the rest of your team? Are the neurons in your brain not functioning? What's going on up there in Illinois? What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Thursday, episode 628 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back who can't hear me. Okay, start tracking your bets on Bookit today. I promise once you do, you're going to keep using that puppy. Could not be an easier bet tracking app out there. Go check out Bookit Sports on the App Store or Google Play. All right. Jovan, we got a subby coming in to start the day off today. Dan's Bets.
Oh, it's good
Sure.
dance.
Love to see that. He says Duval. Yes. I'd love to say it like the new coach, but then I'd probably get arrested, right? Like he probably should have been. Maybe the weirdest Duval I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's a little bit.
Surely that goes well. Jovan, great work on the squad ride last night. Glad you cashed for us. Look, you put your foot down. You said this play needs to go in there. Meat on tape, and it ended up cashing. Great fucking work.
Yeah,
great work.
Foot doesn't go down often, but we needed a squad ride winner. I felt confident, so had to make it known.
Great work. Okay, look, you put the foot down, and when you put the foot down, people are listening. Okay, people are taking notice. Obviously, my plays have been a little bit cold. You know, I'm the streakiest better on earth, right? It's either red hot or
mine were
cold.
too for like a week. I think it was.
Yeah, but
when we first started the month.
You're picking up the slack, right? And we've cashed a squad ride last night, the most important part of our life. Okay, so let's make it 2 in a row. After tonight, let's cash another one of these puppies, and let's keep moving upwards. Only option we got. Only option we got. All right? Chat, let's cash again tonight. We got Chelly in the chat. Sure. W's. I think Chelly might still be live. on his YouTube as well right now, sweating out some CODs. If you guys are into that, if you want to go sweat out some COD lineups, you can go check out what Chelly's crafting up over there on his YouTube. Okay? Jovan, let's hop in and do the Sharp Report recap from yesterday. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off for me. 3-2 day from you, though. No complaints.
Not bad. Could be better. I was mad at your Wizards, dude. That was like the first time I've ever seen them get blown out and not yank the starters super early, which I thought would have been great for Bub.
Doing, dude? What are they doing?
I feel like we always see bitching on Twitter about how long they keep him in, or how quick they yank him out. I guess with Kuzma and Poole and everybody else, they kept him in for a while, which surprised me. But
especially considering how bad the starters looked last night.
Dude, they're awful.
You think maybe just yank him in the third, give him the rest of the night off, hit the reset button, right? I mean, Kuzma played okay. He actually shot 50% from the field, which he never does anymore. So he played all right.
Poole didn't even show up.
Poole, one of the worst performances I've seen in a Wizards uni. Brick house, like Big Cheesy's saying in the chat. Pathetic performance from the Wiz kids. Maybe the worst team in NBA history, and nobody's talking about it. I'll go ahead and start the narrative. Maybe the worst team ever assembled in the history of the NBA. I mean, Jovan, I don't want to give a fake fact here, so I'm going to go ahead and check the Carfax. 6-40 on the season. Teams at this point of the year, more than halfway done the season, they're not 6-40. Teams don't have 6 wins at this point. Teams don't have 40 losses at this point. That is an embarrassment. People need to be held accountable. At least play the rookies. See what you got. Play the young studs. And what do you know? Yes, Big Cheesy's saying it. They play again tonight. They welcome in the Lakers. Surely that goes well. I mean, the ultimate fat, happy, complacent spot for the Lakers, who I'm sure will have some people out. I'm sure they'll be resting some guys. Jovan, we'll have to talk about that game, maybe 30 seconds or less, but we'll save that for a little bit later. We go over some NBA action. Okay? Flatwoods fellow, what's up, Beast? Can we get a roll call going? Can we get a vintage OG roll call going in the chat real quick? I want to see what goats are still in here right now. Let's see what goats are in here after a squad ride W. Come on, I want to shout out some goats. Drop a dub, drop a one, drop a yo, drop a what's up, drop a oi, like Pega's doing in chat. Get involved. We got Pega, we got Yay Lads, Kyle B, like Lightning, Dyson, Props and Chops. We got Ron Mux, we got Mahoney in this puppy. You know Flatwoods is here. Matt Gauthier, we got Snacks up in this puppy. Jovan, all the goats are in town.
Love that.
They've circled back after a squad ride W last night. Love to see it. All right. I'll go ahead and gas this up here real quick, guys. We're live on YouTube as well, along with Twitch. We got a first-time chatter on Twitch right now. Jason Gregg, we appreciate the first-time chatter. If you like sports and if you like betting on them, you found the right place, my man. Drop a follow on the Twitch. Drop a follow on the YouTube. Subscribe over there on the YouTube. It is free. Okay? Oi. Let's have a day, boys. Let's have a day. No steam crabs today, although my plays were fucking atrocious. But we're going to go ahead and move on from those. All right, got in the lab today nice and early, spent some extra time, Jovan, trying to find some nasty CBB plays. I got a hockey play I love today. I got a nasty NBA play I want to run by you that might not be on the Sharp Report, but we're going to talk about it. All right, so why don't we hop right into it and get into the winners? Sure. All right. W Goots as well. And Gootsy, keep me updated on the golf. And I'm pretty sure the first chat in BTL today was from Canadian Goots asking for a Goots POD. So I'm not going to put any pressure on you. Okay, can't force, but if it comes to you,
I mean, I'm pretty dialed in on the golf, and I gave you that 2-piece on Prize Picks.
Yep.
A little late now with everything starting now for a POD in golf, but Justin Thomas has a 9-foot birdie look, Krabs. So let's get that in there.
Come on.
Let's get that.
We got Thomas Dietrich.
Yep.
We got Justin Thomas.
Yep.
Both less than strokes. Let's have a day.
Let's have a day.
Let's have a day. All right. And let's talk about some winners for tonight. Jovan, I'm going to need some reasoning for this NHL play. Or you're going to need to talk me off a Megalodon ledge here. I'm looking at Montreal laying minus 145 now. Are you kidding me? They're this juicy on the ML after 3 straight losses? Look, dude, I know the Wild are coming off a game last night, a back-to-back, and you've been engraving this in my brain, and you're right. I've noticed it with the lines. Teams playing back-to-backs get no line respect. You get line moves the other way, right? But can you at least agree with me? Hopefully, this line is still a little ridiculous, considering the Canadians have not been playing great of late. They're only 3 games over 500. They've dropped 3 in a row, and they haven't beaten the Minnesota Wild in like 5 years. Legitimately.
Yeah, I don't know that it's like incredibly weird because it's also like the Wild's. I don't want to say JV team because it's not that bad, but the Wild are super injured and Fleury's in net, which doesn't get line respect either. Even though this is not the spot I would want to fade him when he's playing probably the last game he's going to play in his hometown in his career, which is scary.
Bro,
Yeah,
you kidding me?
yeah,
That's not a narrative that I like.
it's a tough narrative.
I mean, I'm trying to find the actual Carfax here and see how many times the Wild have beaten the Canadians in a row, but it's been a lot.
Yeah, I mean the
It's been a lot.
Canadians, the Habs are just most. They really haven't been anything since the Cup.
Their dog. Yep. Wild injured as a retirement home. So maybe the line is not as weird as it looks.
Yeah, the Wild
You
are
still
also
like
missing.
the Canadians?
The Wild are super hurt as a team, and they're missing one of the best players in the NHL. So
Right.
that's why the line is what it is off of back to back. So I'm not taking the Wild, but I don't love the Habs either.
Okay. Well, now I'm in moose, like Peg is saying. Let's go ahead and move on to Jovan's first straight bet and see what he's crafting up for the peeps today.
Getting Tulane up and moving
Okay.
against Memphis, which
I'm interested. Yep.
yeah, I mean they've played Memphis pretty well, especially when Memphis has gone on the road. But the thing about this game is the way they play defensively, they're going to make Penny coach this game, which not only do you love fading Memphis when they're a favorite or any favorite more than just a couple points, but I love when I'm betting against Penny Hardaway, not just Memphis, because he's a horrendous coach. And not only Memphis is coming off a game where they scored 100 points and they also shot above 50% from three. So, I mean, a really good shooting game. So, coming into this game, you know what they're going to have to do, Krabs? They're going to have to do it again because Tulane plays just like another team down here, a lot of zone. So, not only, I mean, they have size, they're bigger than Memphis, but they're going to be putting the onus on them shooting the ball. So, like guys like PJ Haggerty and everybody, all the shooters and all the guards are going to have to be lights out just like they were in the last game in this game. So, you bet your ass I'm going to put my money on Penny not being able to make the necessary adjustments with the rotations and the game plan to be lights out on the road against this zone defense, but B, that those guards are not going to do it again after shooting, I think it was 54% from three in that game where that was some of the best their offenses looked, I think, in a handful of games here. So really, really tough, weird game on the road. And I know they've had their fair share of troubles Memphis has when going to Tulane the last couple of years. I think it continues. So I'm taking the green wave.
Back in Caleb Banks, a little bit of a bigger physical squad down there in Tulane. Hopefully they can win this game with some defense, playing some zone. Maybe an outright dub here. I'm kind of smelling an outright win here potentially for the Green Wave.
Yeah, I mean this to me just screams it's one of those games that's going to come down to the last possession, swing one way or another. I know Memphis, I think, has beat them the last couple times that they've played in New Orleans, so I think it'll be close again.
What if I told you Tulane has actually won the last two games at home?
Yeah,
in this matchup, and they've
won
won 3 of the last 5.
3 of the last 5. They've been goated.
Yeah, they've won 3 of the last 5. Memphis beat them the last time they played at Memphis. So when they play at Memphis, they typically take care of business. But I'm looking at this matchup history. Tulane has actually beaten them the last 2 times at home. So maybe they got a little recipe to take down Penny and Co. at home here. And maybe they can win with that zone and throw off a fat, happy, complacent Memphis Tiger squad coming into town. I mean, what do they have to get up for against Tulane? I know they're not going to.
Honestly, it's kind of weirder. It's kind of weirder because the Tulane teams that beat them the last couple times, I think, matched up. I don't know if it's better necessarily, but they played just like Memphis pretty much. They just played super fast, and there were teams that just shot threes. They were basically, I don't know, more or less organized like AAC Bama pretty much. It's like now they're a little different. Now they don't really run as much. They play a little slower, and obviously I'm betting on their defense making them more uncomfortable than them being able to run with Memphis. So it feels odd, but I think I like it better.
Smells like an outright win to me.
Could
See
be
how
huge.
it plays out. Knock on wood. I'll get ahead of that one. I'll go ahead and knock on wood. Give me the green wave. I'll tail that puppy. Great play. I know Dead Larry Bird in chat's tailing that puppy as well. He's already on it.
Let's go.
It's back to Lane today and fade Coach Penny. I'm in. Love that. Gucci, let's swing it back to my plays. Let's see what straight bet number 2 is for the peeps today. Going with a nasty CBB team on the roads. Try to go back to the drawing board a little bit with CBB today and just taking more dogs overall. It's been a dog type of season. And I've been taking these fat favorites, these sharp favorites. They're not coming through like St. Joe's last night. They were pacing and winning the entire game. It was never in doubt. But again, another one of those sharp spots that just does not come through. They can't get to the number. I don't know what it is, but the books have had one heck of a time setting these sharp, fat lines for some of these mid-major teams. So, Jovan, I'm going back to the drawing board right now a little bit and trying to focus a little bit more on dogs, which, to be honest with you, is probably what I should be doing in the first place. Okay, because crabs and underdogs, it's like peanut butter and jelly. All right, so I found one on the road today. Not ideal back in a road dog, but the way this season's gone, it kind of is, at least for our wallets. And I'll back Hofstra, a team who comes in losing 3 of their last 4 games to an Elon squad, Jovan, that I just think has overperformed immensely so far this season. You're going to see them start regressing in conference play here now, the second half of the conference season. They've already dropped 2 of their last 3 games to Delaware and College of Charleston. College of Charleston's a solid mid-major still, even without Coach Kelsey, so I'll give him a pass there. But Elon's coming back down to earth. Hofstra's coming off a couple bad games. And if you look back at Hofstra's recent successes against Elon, they dominate them at Elon as well. They've beaten them the last 2 times they played at Elon. So Elon's going to be on their heels in this game already before it even starts, knowing that Hofstra comes in ready to play. And I'll take a better coached Pride squad coming in here on the road, getting a couple points. They've had good recent success at Elon, and I think Elon's trending downward. This is more of a fade on them.
That's an interesting game, Krabs. That is. I have no idea what to do with that game. My head's in a blender. I might tell you with that.
Yeah, I want to back the Prides. They've beaten them 3 of the last 4 times they played them. They've beaten them 2 of the last times they played them at Elon. And Elon's been great so far at home this season. No reason why they should only be 3.5-point favorites. Maybe it's because of the recent matchup history like I'm talking about, but they're 8-1 at home this season. I see another home loss on the upcoming schedule here for Elon. And I think it's against this Hofstra Pride team coming off some bad games.
Yeah, I can get down with that for sure. Shout out Easy Puck.
Let's go, Easy Puck.
11-monther.
Atta boy. Easy Puck coming in 11-month subby on Prime. Love to see it.
Let's go.
I'll see you in a month when it's 12, Easy Puck. You're a goat. We appreciate you, Beast. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here. Jovan, you got another straight bet for the peeps.
Yeah, I want to take the over in the VGK game tonight, which it's I feel like maybe we're catching the downslope of CBJ right before the break because I don't know if you remember, but they were on a pretty big insanity run at the start of the new year. They were fantastic, and a lot of that, defensively, they were pretty sound. And now after, I don't know, the last week or so, not that all of their losses have come with them just being, I don't know, super porous defensively, but the defense has definitely seemed to slip even in wins the last couple of games that they have. Mainly like that game where they gave up 7 against the Canes, comes to mind. Even the game against the Leafs, they were so fortunate to somehow come away with only allowing 1 because they were getting ripped on all game. The defense was bad in the back. So now I think we're going to start to see the defense come back down to earth going into the break here. And now they're in a weird spot too, where God knows where they've been for the last couple of days. They were on the road in LA where they picked up a win, or at home against LA where they picked up a win. And now they're going on the road to VGK, a team who I love these spots for the elite teams in the NHL after they come through playing a lot better teams. They just had 2 against the Stars with a game against the Panthers sandwiched in the middle. Struggled in those games, frankly, which was a little surprising. They lost both those games to the Stars and picked up the win against the Panthers. But now this seems like the time before their schedule heading into the break where they get their offense together, VGK does, and kind of pile it on CBJ. This feels like a spot where you want to be super aggressive if you're them, especially if Samsonov ends up being in net. So you kind of want to win it with your offense, not sitting back with your defense. So I don't want to count out VGK in games like that, especially when they're massive dogs and nobody really wants to give them too much of a chance. That's when they come out and score. So I think we're getting a shootout, not literally, but pretty fat. Flatwoods.
We just got a 5U subby coming in from Flatwoods. Let's fucking go Flatwoods. Atta boy. We got Frito, Royal, Stank, Spoof, and Kirebston. Definitely botched that name, but U5 just got blessed up with a subby from Flatwoods fella. Drop some W's in the chat. Let's fucking go. Flatwoods coming in splooging today. Somebody seems pretty excited about a squad ride W last night. Could be the difference. Okay? Could be the difference. Pega said, I faded American Krabs. I learned. Yeah, it can't be done.
GG.
Can't be done. All right. W over on the ice, Jovan. I could get behind that.
Sure.
Some goals. I got a feeling we'll be circling back to the ice. Talking about a prize pick square. Maybe the rest of the slate. in a couple minutes. All right. We got G Fernandez coming in, resubbing. Sharp Reports getting him horny. Sure.
Crazy.
WG Fernandez. Appreciate you coming in here and speaking your honest truths. Okay. Hype train moving and grooving, folks. Get involved. Don't just sit there. Okay. Let's get back to the Sharp Report here. Let's swing it around, Gucci. I got one more play for the peeps. All right. I'm taking Nebraska, a team who cannot buy a win right now. A team who's lost 5 games in a row. They're sitting at 12-8 after a great start to the season. Nebraska's come back down to earth. And look, Jovan, they got a matchup against a ranked Illinois team that's been banged up. They got their star center who, trust me, we all know about at this point, Visick, who's not going to be playing in this game. He's got mono. So look, they're down some guys, Illinois is, and they've had some losses of late. This is not the sharpest, nastiest play of all time. But to be fair, we're still backing a bad Nebraska team that cannot sniff a win of late and has looked atrocious the last two and a half weeks of the season. I'll back Nebraska in a sharp spot at home, getting a handful of points against ranked Illinois here. Illinois still has to head to the roads without their big man. I know they've done a better job of late trying to figure out how to replace the production in the paint from a Visick, but in my opinion, I think this Nebraska team that's got some physical forwards like Gary, I think they're going to grub in this matchup, and I think Nebraska could potentially win this game outright and hand Illinois another loss without their star center.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked at this game and I was pretty torn too, because Nebraska's the greatest home team of all time. So I was maybe expecting like one of those weird lines that are closer to a pick 'em. We're not seeing that. They got me a little worried.
They are 8-2 on the ML this season at home. The Huskers. They are.
Yeah.
Shout out UIC for beating Bradley last night. Attaboy, Banana. Attaboy. That team's kind of good. And you know, Bradley's always good for a couple bad losses every year, man. They just can't put it all together. Jovan, I don't know. I'm seeing some of these forwards for Nebraska kind of grubbing tonight. You don't think Gary and co are going to have some success maybe?
No, I do. I'm with you on that for sure.
Okay. All right. But you think Illinois might follow suit? And after a couple games without their center, they might look all right on offense in this one against Nebraska?
It's possible. It's also just like I remember I attacked all of the 3-point shooters against Nebraska because that's what they give up. So guys like you got Humacrow might have a day. But I don't know. I was just looking at this game and I was like, why is Illinois getting steam on the road against Nebraska, knowing that Ivisic is, I think, like officially had gotten ruled out earlier in the morning. I know.
Yep.
I'm saying, like, why? Why are we going 2.5 to 4.5?
Could be people betting them. Probably not. It's still a weird move. I can't counter it. It's a weird move. But yeah, I'll back my guns here with Nebraska, a team who like Lightning is saying in chat. Try saying that 3 times fast. Nebraska's last 2 losses at home were their first losses at home in 2 years. They've been an absolute wagon at home in the last, couple of years, half a decade. I got a feeling we see Nebraska pull out a win at home. It might not be as sharp as it looks on the surface, backing a bad Nebraska team right now, like you're saying, Jovan, right? Honestly, Illinois might be the sharp side here, but with how CBB's been going, Nebraska might just go out there and get one.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip it around. Let's see what last straight bet Jovan's got on the card for the peeps today. Looks like an under in CBB. Ooh.
Yeah. Speaking of teams who play a lot of zone, I've been kind of pumping the drum that South Alabama, like if anybody's actually watched them play, which I'm sure is few and far in between in the chat here, the way they play zone is actually hilarious because like they play zone and pretty much everybody is standing on the edge of the paint or in the paint. So like their zone is they don't even like try to go out and contest shooters a lot of the time, which is insane because like they give up an absurd amount of open looks doing it. So it's the riskiest scheme of all time because really if a team catches fire, they're going to lose by 20 and they can do it to anybody. Even if a team doesn't shoot well, they're going to lose by 20. Like it's going to be really no in between. And they just played UL Monroe on Monday, and UL Monroe kind of figured out the zone a little bit. And they came out hot early, shot well, and then it kind of forced South Alabama to actually go out on the shooters pretty early in the game. And then they started strolling into the free throw line pretty much anytime. They put up 77 points. They had UL Monroe won as, I think, a 13-point dog. They won outright by 11. So now coming back, this game's going to be at home for South Alabama. They're even bigger favorites, and the total is even lower than it was in that game after soaring over a little bit. I think this is a game where South Alabama, on offense, I think they play a little slower. They got sped up because they're chasing points against Monroe early. But on the defensive side of the ball, I think that zone makes some adjustments. They keep UL Monroe off of the free throw line. And I do think UL Monroe doesn't shoot nearly as well early in the game as they did at home than they do when they're going on the road here. So if UL Monroe can't get to the free throw line, effectively they don't score. And South Alabama makes you get like over 60% of your points from the free throw line. It's actually like absurd numbers and absurd statistics because of that zone. So I think after a game of kind of seeing how UL Monroe attack them, they make some adjustments and we see a more classic low scoring South Alabama game.
Sure. I could get down with this under. Looking at the matchup history, the last 5 times they played 4 overs, totals have all been they've all been higher than the number we're seeing right now as well. So could be a good sign for an under in matchup number 2 this year. And like you said, Louisiana Monroe beat them outright in that last game at home when they were plus 12. I got to ask, any reason you're not just taking their team total under in this one?
Yeah, because I do think like I'm a little worried too that South Alabama is not going to pull their weight, and a lot of that comes from recency bias of those seemingly sharp dog or big favorites that have not been coming through. It's like I just wanted to target points. This reminds me a little bit. I mean, not a little bit, pretty much exactly of when I took South Alabama against TCU. It's a similar matchup than like the non-conference. So I just wanted to. That game was disgusting. Just keep it to that.
All right. We got Drek 342 coming in resubbing 4 minutes ago for 16 months. Love to see that. Let's go, Drek. Attaboy. Way to get involved. We appreciate you, Beast. W resub. Jovan, I could get down with that under, man. Total's dropping as well from the opener at 135. We're seeing 133.5 with an under juiced. That puppy's going to keep dropping throughout the day. So lock that one in responsibly, chat. If you're trying to tail Jovan, I'd say probably now for a measly unit, right? That total's only going to keep getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
All right. W play. Let's go to some prize pick squares. All right. I will say I've been carrying weight with prize pick squares overall.
Yeah, I've been
for the last couple of weeks. So let's hope we, keep smacking, turning green on prize picks here. I'm going with Jacob Dobbs. Less than 2.5 goals allowed. Kind of back in that Montreal Canadiens ML narrative here. This kid's been cracked. Is this his rookie season? Right? First year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out of the gates just unbelievable. I think I went to a Caps game where he was actually in net and played really well. And this kid has been unbelievable so far this season. But if you look at his last 2 games, he has given up some goals. All right, he's given up 4 goals in each of his last 2 games. I'm thinking tonight he bounces back. Maybe he is him. And we're taking the less than 2.5 goals allowed in a game where I think they win. And also a nasty-ish looking square for a random goalie who maybe people who are tapped into NHL know all about him, right? But the average pedestrian walking down the street would have no fucking clue who this Dobbs kid is. I'm thinking he balls again tonight and bounces back after 2 Moose games.
Big Jakob. I don't hate that.
Yep.
I do think even if the Wild win, it's probably not going to come with goals. It'll be because Fleury stands on his head for whatever reason. So I can get down with it.
All right. Let's hope it's a nasty game. No fun in that one. Give me an under and give me a Montreal Canadiens win. And then I'm going Juwan Gary, Jovan. I feel like I could probably sell you on this one. As square as it might kind of be. Noah Visick for Illinois tonight, and they've really had trouble defending the interior. I think Gary, who's coming off a bad game, if you look at how he's played this season, Jovan, not many players who are more up and down than Juwan Gary. It's pretty much like he takes turns every other game going off and then dropping a goose egg. Last game, he dropped a goose egg. Tonight, his point square is 2 points higher than his season average. That looks kind of weird to me and a little bit telling. And I think Gary has a really good matchup against a soft interior for Illinois tonight. I think he carries this Nebraska team to a win outright. And I think he cashes his more than points and drops a 15 Berg, if not a 20 Berg against Illinois tonight.
Yeah, definitely on that. I think he's going to feast today. So I'm with you.
Good. Dobbs under goals allowed and Judge under home runs. Goots, that could be the first one.
That might have to be the first one.
If I lock that in, he's given up 17 goals tonight. NHL record.
Probably, yeah.
NHL record. All right, Jovan, what are you crafting up on prize picks tonight, my man?
Start by getting Struce loose, Krabs.
Ooh.
Dude loves playing on back-to-backs. And I know He gets the Hawks, which I think is a really good matchup for him, partially because they're super weak on the perimeter. They'll allow spot ups to do pretty much whatever you want, but also you're getting Darius Garland back today. You can assume Dyson Daniels is going to get the assignment of one of the guards on the court, and Trae Young's going to be on the other one, and that leaves a super shorthanded group of wings. Cold Stick with 10 gifted.
Whoa.
Before I continue. What
not
a goat.
1, not 2, not 3, not 5, but 10.
10.
Subbies coming in hot from Cold Stick. Are you kidding me?
Let's go, dude.
Are you kidding me? Can we get some W's in the chat for that? We got a 10-unit sub whale coming in from Cold Stick. I'm assuming tailed the squad ride last night. Oh my gosh. Just had my first son today.
Wow.
I'm so excited. Can we get some W's in the chat for Cold Stick? Atta boy. Congratulations, my man. Hope everything's going well. Enjoy it. That's unbelievable. Good for you, Beast. You're him. You're him.
Well, you know you do. You know you do to pay for the baby formula. You take Max Strus points today. That's what you do.
Strus can help. Strus can pay for a diaper or two tonight.
Strus could pay for quite a bit tonight if he locks in. Because, like I said, I think Dyson is obviously the toughest matchup on the court. He's going to get one of the guards. Darius Garland's back in the lineup today, so like he's going to be driving at any point. And really, whoever's not on Dyson Daniels is going to get kind of free rein to drive and kick, which I think Strus will be a big beneficiary of that. And I think they'll have to play a little smaller too because of the nature of the Hawks. So I think you'll get probably a little less Jared Allen minutes or a little less Allen/Mobley on the court together minutes. So I think that kind of forces them to spread the court. And this is where I think the strongest point of the matchup is for the Cavs. And I'll tell you what, it definitely doesn't hurt either that the whole world had Max Strus yesterday because he was playing his former team in the Heat and he shot 2 for 8 or 2 for 9, which is he pretty consistently hits 2 threes, and that's just about it. So we hopefully need him to scratch the surface and get a much better game than that. Hit a couple more in this game, and I think he does. So give me Max. And then and Edwards, who loves having his best 3-point shooting games against these horrendous perimeter defenses. Because you would think, like, for teams like the Jazz, like he's playing tonight, teams like the Pelicans, teams like the Wizards, that kind of as a group, the team would be involved, or as a collective starting five with the shooters, whether it's Jaden McDaniels being involved, whether it's Nikhil being involved, whether it's any of the shooters around him, DiVincenzo when he plays. Like, you would think that would be the best point of the matchup for him, even when they're on a back-to-back. But if you look at Anthony Edwards' best shooting games, it happens to be against those teams that allow plenty of pull-ups and plenty of spot-ups too. So, like, he just loves to chuck in those situations. And even though he's coming off of a fantastic game, it wasn't really from the three-point line because he still had 3, and you can tell that by the chart he hasn't really been doing it that way lately. He's been doing it much more at the rim. So now coming back, I think this is where he finally gets it going from 3 and gets the 1 green bar on that fully read out chart against a horrendous defense that is not going to be able to stop him the slightest, partially because of how shorthanded they are, but also, like, you want to attack them from the perimeter because not that their rim defense is incredibly strong, but when you have Kessler and Laurie in there, it's definitely the path of least resistance. So give me Ant.
And we don't even know if Kessler's playing tonight, man.
I don't know, dude. It really doesn't really matter either way, but they're going to get torched from the perimeter, whichever way you slice it.
Yep. John Collins game time, Walker Kessler game time. I was looking at that spread earlier. It definitely stuck out to me. I've heard so much hate and shit talking on these Utah teams at home. I think the Hockey Club and the Jazz. And I was thinking about getting cute, taking the Jazz on the spread, but I honestly think that's the same thing as just taking the Wizards on the spreads. More often than not, that's going to go horribly. And it just should not be taken at this point.
Yeah. Could be the spot, though.
Even with this 3 square.
Yeah.
You're seeing some points.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, if it's a blowout, Ant might not hit this. You might.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a crazy blowout.
Okay. We got a JT Birdie. Let's go, Gootsy. Atta baby.
Good style.
Atta boy. Keep balling, JT. I think it's your year this year, my man. It's been a while. Golf's better when Justin Thomas is winning tourneys. Okay? You can't count on any Jazz starters to play. Yeah, Hoffy, that's kind of why I just left that one off to the sides. Let it split.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll see. We got a couple subbies coming in. We got Chigs 6'9" coming in, dropping a resub as well, along with Cold Stick coming in, being him, dropping that 10-unit whale. W's, gents, again. We appreciate you guys. Gents Club Sports just got off a work call. What do we have for JT? We have his less than strokes. We took less than strokes for JT. I think it was less than 70. And then we've got Thomas Dietrich, less than 70 and a half strokes. All right. So if you guys see anything happening with Dietrich or JT, feel free to let me know. All right. What's the par on this course, dudes? Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to need 2 birdies. All right. Dubs. Jovan, I like these squares. Struess, the back-to-back king, like you were talking about, great sell job. And Anthony Edwards, pretty read-it-out chart in a game where you're seeing some points. 2 words. Sign me up.
Sure.
I'm in.
Need a lot of threes chucked.
I'm in. Krabs Jovan, thoughts on Adam Silver winning 10-minute quarters? Yeah, the NBA is numbers are down, ratings are down. Nobody plays defense. Too many blowouts. A lot of wide gap between the worst and best teams in the league. Here's what'll fix it. Let's cut off 2 minutes off each quarter. That should work.
I understand the sentiment of what he was trying to get at with that. And I know they're kind of like your hands forced to try just at least talking about a bunch of different stuff, but that would make it 50 times worse, because then the team crafting would be insane. Like all the Max Struesses of the world would be irrelevant, because then you just have super top heavy teams, and
the starters would play every minute, like in college.
Yeah, starters would play pretty much every minute of the game. So then it would be like the full team would be irrelevant.
Interesting. So you're saying no go on the 10-minute course?
Yeah, it's probably not the best course of action. I appreciate the attempt though from Adam Silver. He's trying to do everything he can to fix something about it, which is more than you could say for pretty much any other commissioner.
Agreed. I like Adam Silver. I think he's probably the best commissioner in all the major sports right now. But I think his product is in the worst spot.
Yeah.
So he's got some work to do. I don't know. Me personally, I'd probably try to figure out a way to incentivize these guys on the court and make them play defense and try and make these games matter in the regular season.
Yeah,
maybe it's cutting out games.
There's only so much Silver can do. I think you can shorten the season, and that's like the only way to do it. But in reality, it comes down to the players trying.
Yeah. I would rather less games and keep them at the same length right now, and not risk getting rid of all the role players and their significance in the game, right? I'd rather cut the season down. Let's get rid of some of these games, or let's have more in-season tourneys. Whatever they got to do. Those in-season tourneys at least work a little bit. You see a little bit of heart, a glimmer of hope,
definitely
a glimmer of effort.
Yeah.
All right. MLB stock up. Billy, only a couple weeks, man. Hang in there. All right. All right, John. Let's go ahead and hop in and talk about the slate for today. W squares on Prize Picks. I'll drop the link to the Sharp Report 4-man here in a second. You want to talk about the rest of the CBB slate?
Yeah, we can give it our best effort.
Sure. It's a lot of games today. Obviously, a lot of mid-majors. We know how Thursdays roll. You got a lot of really good matchups on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. A couple good matchups today, but a lot of mid-majors getting involved on the hardwoods on Thursday night, Jovan. We could start looking at some of these earlier games and see if you've got any reads. Oh, here's a pretty good early game. Well, looks like it on paper, but then you actually watch these teams play and you want to put ice picks in your eyeballs. Ohio State and Penn State. They face off today in CBB.
Yeah. It's an interesting game. I don't know. Where's your head at in that one?
Lean Penn State. But again, with Ohio State, you should take the opposite of whatever you think is sharp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It seems like another one of those situations where Penn State looks like the relatively easy player that makes sense play, which I hate fading Ohio State in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had to get to the counter in this game, I lean Penn State, so I'd probably end up taking Ohio State based on how they perform this season. When it makes sense to back them, you fade them. When it makes sense to fade them, you back them.
Yeah,
and that's
there's
the
one of those
way.
teams.
That's the Buckeyes way. Yes. W. Nerfy Chad. Yes, that one hit last night differently. Sure. Let's cash another one tonight. All right. Have to. Most important, number one priority is cashing that damn squad ride tonight. All right, chat. Dogs you want, Nebraska, Campbell, Tulane, UC Davis, CSUN, Dead Larry Bird. You love your mid-major Cal teams, brother. I respect it. I could definitely get on board with those first three, and we'll take a peep if we have time at some of those later California games. Okay? Jovan, I'm assuming you'd play Ohio State there in that spot because it makes no sense.
I would, but I mean, I'm definitely not going to.
Okay. Yep. That is more than fair. And if you've got any early mid-majors that we're looking at you funny, Jovan, and I skip through them, please feel free to shout them out. But trying to find some ones that people in the chat might care about. They might be looking for a play in it. A lot of Ball Sack State's playing today, folks. UTEP in Western Kentucky is a pretty solid game. You got
That's a
UTEP.
pretty good game.
UTEP is rejuvenated. UTEP is solid. They got a decent team out there. I know they're on the roads. They've won 3 of their last 4 games here, Jovan. And they're just coming off a nice win against Kennesaw State. That's a tough team to beat. But Western Kentucky was kind of struggling, but they're coming off an outright win against our Sam Houston Bearcats in their last game when they were dogs. Any thoughts on Western Kentucky and UTEP? The spread in this game is down from 3.5 to 2.5 for UTEP as a dog.
Yeah, I thought the opener was pretty telling in the first place anyway. It's like I would still lean Western Kentucky. I think at the end of the day, they're the better team in the game, but I think they're a little tougher, a little more physical. And UTEP, even though they've been really good this season and really good the past, I don't know, couple weeks, they've been facing some pretty soft, pretty small teams, which Hilltoppers are not.
They beat Liberty on the road, which is honestly a really good win.
Really good.
All those other games are against Moose squads. So you're right. You're right. UTEP is also 5-1 against the spread in road games this year. So, yeah, maybe we either stay off this game or maybe Western Kentucky opened up -3.5 in the spot for a reason. Okay.
Probably.
You officially talked me off of UTEP. It's probably a good thing. Any thoughts on Tarleton, Utah Tech? Rumor has it LC might be all over Tarleton here in the spot.
Tarleton?
Yeah, Tarleton laying 6.5 against Utah Tech. They lost to Utah Tech already once this season in a crazy upset. They lost by 4 in that game at Utah Tech. Now Tarleton comes back home laying this big old number.
I mean, this game sucks. I don't know. I don't really have many thoughts. Neither of these. I mean, these are 2 of the worst shooting teams in all of college basketball. So I mean,
the total's moving up.
Yeah, especially after the way that first game went, 58-54. Tarleton 5 for 13. Utah Tech 3 for 14 from 3. So I mean, great shooting games out of those 2 teams, per usual. Maybe we get some more points. That definitely does not lean Tarleton's way if there is more points.
Yeah, I'd probably bet the over in this game. Looking at this total after how game 1 went, but I mean, if I had to take a side, I would lean Tarleton after getting upset in that first matchup. I wouldn't say I love it, but definitely lean that way. But give me points in that game. 2 of the worst offenses in CBB. Already played once this year. Game soared under, and we're seeing this total creep up. I'd honestly go as far to say that opening up at 134 is a little too high. Wouldn't have been shocked to see it in the 120s.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That's a disgusting over.
Maybe we see these teams actually show up for the first time in a minute on offense.
Wouldn't that be something?
Let's hope it's Tarleton. All right. Looking at some of these other games, another really good game, mid-majors. I just brought up Liberty. How about Liberty opening up -4.5 on the road to Kennesaw State? Jovan, let me talk you through this one because on paper or at first glance, it might be Kennesaw State looking like the sharp spot here. But then I tell you about Kennesaw State's dominance at home and how they never lose at home over the years. And this season, Jovan, you want to guess what their record is at home?
Let me hear it.
9-0.
Wow.
How about it? And you've got Liberty, who, look, great team, a great program. I don't know what the heck they're doing down there with their sports programs, but Virginia Tech should hire the entire staff and just have them plug them into VT because whatever they're doing, it's much better than what we got going on in Blacksburg. But Liberty coming off of 2 good wins after a couple bad L's to Louisiana Tech on the road. I'll give them a pass on that one. And then UTEP, that's a tough matchup as well. Liberty bouncing back after 2 straight wins. I thought them opening up -4.5 favorites in the spot was more significant than Kennesaw State catching steam, only being +3.5 at home.
You know, I could respect that. I respect
it's
that.
Liberty. I like Liberty.
I wouldn't
Liberty
talk you
here.
off.
The Flames. I like Liberty.
Sure.
Looking at recent matchup history as well, they lost to Kennesaw the last 2 times they played. Not this year, but could be getting their lick back here on the roads.
This is a big little stretch here for Liberty. On the road against Kennesaw this weekend. They go on the road to Jack State, and they come back and they host Louisiana Tech.
They got to split those 2 road games at minimum.
Yeah, they have to. So if they get one now, that would be huge.
We got DJ Fitz in the chat. Let's go. We're about to have a day today.
Go Fitz.
Love to see that. Let's go Fitz. W. Mikey and Trent at the Knicks game last night as well. Rumor has it Mikey Over's 3-0 outright and 3-0 against the spread in the Garden these last 3 games. Unbelievable.
Literally insane.
Go,
that
Mike.
Trent also killed Jokic for a game.
I mean, that Trent tweet was absolutely hysterical. Hysterical.
Unbelievable.
First time watching Jokic in person. And what does Trent do to him? That's like his worst game ever. Can't make it up.
Yeah.
Let's go, Mike. Mike owns MSG. People are talking. W's. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here, gents. Looking at some of these other mid-majors. Anything in South Dakota State, North Dakota States? You know, everyone's been talking about these Summit League overs.
Yeah, they've been pretty free.
And these Dakota overs.
This is definitely one that I wouldn't bet against.
Can we see some regression looming?
There's definitely some regression, but I don't know if this is the spot that I would do it personally, especially being that this is, I mean, not that it doesn't make sense with these teams this year, but I was looking back, the highest total this game has had in quite some time. And we've seen some really good offenses from especially South Dakota State the past couple of years, the Zeke Mayo days too. But yeah, this is still pretty high.
Yeah, so maybe not this one.
Yeah.
Maybe not this time we fade. Let this one splooge. All right. We got Canadian Goots in the chat asking the right questions. We getting nicey on Surge today? I believe we are. I think we got Rav stepping up.
Yeah.
Running the Surge again today. Let's fucking go, Rav. Killed it yesterday. So close to smacking one of those lineups as well. If Jordan Poole wasn't useless, you'd be in business, Rav. Let's get back to the drawing board. Let's smack one today. All right. W's Rav running the Surge stream. Make sure you guys go on there after this, 2 p.m. Eastern, and pitch him a winner, whether it's prize picks or book play. All right, give him a sell job of the century. Dubs. Washington State is short, given they lost at Pacific at home. One of the worst losses of the CBB season. Yeah, that is a crazy upset that happened earlier this year. I still kind of like Pacific, I'll be honest. These fat favorites have just not been coming through. You won't see me on it.
Yeah.
But after Washington State covered that game, legacy-wise in their last one, and, you know, they've already lost to Pacific, you won't see me on either side. But
you know what's
still lean Pacific.
You know what's really odd about that game? That game was 95-94. The total was 152.5, and this total is at 149.5.
Huh.
Which is incredibly odd. Not just off of that game, but Pacific's defense is also terrible. I know their offense can't really keep up against some of the better defenses, but Washington State is very obviously not that, and they showed that the first time they played. That total opening up there was absurd to me.
Yeah, we saw almost 100 points from both squads, and they played earlier this year. The over obviously cashed at 152.5. Round 2, we got a total lower than that. That smells like an under to me. And that smells like a really good find.
I wish Pacific was coming off of a little better of an offensive game. Then I would for sure get involved. They scored like less than 50 points in the last game, but I mean Washington State also scored pretty well on St. Mary's defense in that game over the weekend. So, yeah, yes. maybe a little give and take there.
You're right. Right. Yeah, give me this under, Jovan. Let's put a star next to this one. We might need it later. That's a good looking play. All right. I don't know if Goots flashed the splits for that one, but if you haven't already, Goots, do you mind clicking on that one so I can take a peep at it real quick?
People got some Pacific versus Wazoo Wales already.
Okay. Yeah. Would love to see what people are betting in that one.
I would love to see how many bets are on that game.
Yeah. Damn, look at people betting the under.
286 is honestly more than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Some bets on the under. A little bit surprising, I'll be honest, but a Rory ace.
Yeah, anyone bet a home one in golf?
Saw that was a big thing.
Dude, didn't everybody nuke no, or was that another tournament?
I didn't see any of that on the feed, but he just knocked.
I saw some of the stuff on the feed that everybody had no for some tournament because it had never happened before or something, and they're bitching because the price was like incorrect, and then some book like refunded the bets and they bet it
Yes.
again.
I mean, it could have been this one, but that shit's cake.
That was yes, Jovan, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I'm sure.
Everybody was nuking no, and what do you know? We get a fucking hole-in-one.
On the first day.
Okay.
Funny
insane.
how that works.
That is a little funny. Can't deny it. You know what else is funny? Cal Baptist laying 7.5 points to any team in the country. Anybody. That's also a little funny and a little ridiculous. Are we going back to the Lancers tonight?
I don't fade Abilene as big dogs, Krabs. I can't do it.
Okay.
Can't do it.
All right. Both these teams are atrocious against the spread this season. 6-12 for Abilene, 6-14 for Cal. I guess that means Abilene either has played one or two less games, or they had a couple games early on this season that didn't have spreads. Yeah, two terrible teams against the spread. Two teams that, in my opinion, don't really respect coins of late, especially Cal Baptist. Those sons of guns. We trusted them earlier this year, and they couldn't come through. They need Armstrong back. All right, looking at some of these nasty Cal games late night. This is what Dead Larry Bird's been waiting for. Let's see if there's anything we're missing. I just want to make sure we have our bases covered here, Jovan. Anything in these nasty late night Cal games? You got UC Davis getting 5.5 to UC Riverside's in a rivalry game. Both teams have won 3 games in a row.
I know. I think that's the one Dead Larry Bird was talking about for the most part. I could so get down with UC Davis, dude. That's probably the one that I guess would stand out on the page most out of the little UC schools. I could get involved with them stealing one on the road. I'm always down for some Ty Johnson, dude. He's goated.
He'll be the best player on the floor.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And I think I saw him like Cal State Northridge, the Matadors, who were +2 on the road to UCSB, the Gauchos. And I think Cal State Northridge opened up a favorite on the road, which I was pretty surprised to see, considering they haven't covered a game in a month. And considering, they do have good recent success against the Gauchos. They actually have beaten them the last 2 times they played them on their home court. So maybe that has something to do with it. Them opening up as a favorite, and the Gauchos haven't covered a game in a month as well, right? So both these teams have been kind of struggling, although UCSB is at least winning games. I think that's one of those cases where that opening line of the Matadors as a favorite on the road in this spot is still weirder than where that line's at right now. And I'd still lean Cal State Northridge.
Yeah, I can respect that.
What about Oregon UCLA? That's a pretty good late night game tonight. You got people saying UCLA might be back after 4 straight dubs. And then Oregon kind of trending the other way, Jovan. After a hot start to the season, they've lost 2 of their last 3.
Yeah, this might have to be where you buy back in on Oregon, Krabs.
I think it is. And I hate backing ranked teams against unranked teams when the unranked team's a favorite. We all know this is the system play. The system's been better of late. Okay, I'll give you guys that. But the system has not been 100% so far this season, okay, with teams unranked as favorites at home against ranked squads. So I'm more than okay with backing the Ducks here, buying low, I guess, after a couple bad performances, Jovan. They've got a really good 3-point defense. They were clamps in their last contest, although it didn't result in a win. They've got a solid perimeter defense, and I think they could slow down UCLA, who might still have a banged-up Bilodeau involved. That could be enough to potentially get the Ducks an outright win, or at least keep this one within, 4.5 points.
Yeah, and I'm seeing or been seeing that there's a possibility Bilodeau's back for this game. So I mean, if you're getting him back, getting the best player back, I would feel a lot more inclined to actually push the button.
Wow.
On the ranked team.
Wow. Fade the good news.
Yeah.
I'm so in. I hope he does play. And I hope that's why the spread moved a point towards UCLA, right? I hope that's why that spread's moving. Go ahead and give me +4.5 for the Ducks. Pega, I got to look into the Rozier thing. I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, that one makes sense. He is moose.
What have you heard?
I didn't read into it. I saw he was, I don't know, potentially a Jonte Porter situation.
Wow. All right. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow then. I don't want to speak out of my ass on that one. I got to do some research.
Yeah, I didn't look deep into that one. I saw a couple people sent it to me.
NBA found no issues. Snacks is saying, interesting. I'll look into it. Huh. Big Cheesy says, I've lost a lot of coins on Rozier. I feel like we all have. Interesting. All right. Let's keep moving to grooving here. We don't need to talk anymore about Terry Rozier. He's moose. Anything in Seattle, Grand Canyon late night tonight, Jovan? Grand Canyon back on track. 4 straight wins. Seattle was low-key on fire. They've dropped 2 in a row.
Yeah. I can't say I have too much there. You don't want to catch me betting Grand Canyon, even though it seems, I don't know, maybe like to play. It's still a fat number, I think, for a lot of the line respect you see Seattle get all the time. But I've seen this way too many times with these fat favorites around 10 for me to get involved.
Yep. I will say, though, I'll tell you guys what I said before the season. If you fade Grand Canyon every game against the spread this year, you're probably making coins. Right now, Grand Canyon 6-13 against the spreads. I wouldn't hate a stab on Seattle here. And just keep fading them.
Yeah.
The books are not losing. The books are not losing coins 2 years in a row on Grand Canyon University. And if you think differently, you're incorrect. And I'm happy to spend some time with you. We can, take it offline. Anybody in chat, I'm happy to convince you because I'm 100% confident in that take. All right. The books got crushed by Grand Canyon being a wagon last year. They're not letting that happen 2 years in a row. They're going to make them insane favorites in every spot. People are going to bet them blindly because they're a mid-major. And we're going to fade and make coins. All right? Let's bet Seattle.
Yeah.
Jovan, midnight game on the Rock. Legally obligated to ask you about it. I have no lanes, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you to pick your brain. UCSD and Hawaii tonight.
Immediate gut says Hawaii, so they're losing by 50.
Okay, we might have a play here, folks.
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
Jovan does not have a lot of weaknesses, folks. If he has one kryptonite, it might be betting Hawaii on the Rock.
Well, thankfully it's not betting at this point. It's just I've caught on quick enough to the point where I'm not losing coin doing it. I'm very self-aware.
Sure. And I do not mean this as an insult at all. I think it's a compliment because if that's your biggest fault, then you're doing something right. Okay. But yeah, Jovan's reads in the Hawaii game for
whatever my gut immediately tells me in any Hawaii game, cake every single time.
And you like Hawaii tonight?
I mean, just looking at the game for 5 seconds, yes.
Yeah. All right. To be honest with you, I kind of liked Hawaii too, but now I'm looking at this line, and I'm also hearing the Hawaii whisperer tell me in my ear it's Hawaii, which might flip me over to UCSD, laying 7.5 on the road on the Rock.
They could flip.
Jesus. They opened up over a touchdown on the road on the Rock at midnight. Come on. They might just keep rolling. You might be onto something there, Jovan.
Stay hot.
Okay. All right. Enough talking about Hawaii's. Let's move. Let's groove. Jovan, you pick NHL or NBA. Where do you want to
go? We can go to the NHL.
Okay. You want to talk about the Caps? And I know Nerfy Chat will keep me in check and chat. You won't see me fading Logan Thompson or the Caps tonight. I don't even know if he's in net, but my point is Ottawa looking like an extremely sharp play today. And now that I look at the line, I'm seeing them as a favorite against the Caps. Shit.
Definitely really odd. Definitely really odd. But yeah, I don't really have any inclination for that game, whether it's Thompson or Lindgren. But
are the Caps just that team that you just don't fade this year on the ice?
Yeah, they're just hot first half of the season. We'll see. We'll see what the adjustments look like line-wise second half of the season. But if I've learned anything, there's probably going to be some pretty stark adjustment, and they're going to start, I don't know, probably not just playing worse, but they're going to be priced a little different.
Okay. Well, today they're priced a little different. That's for sure. I know they're on the road. And the Senators they're not terrible. They're 26-20-4. They won 3 of their last 5. They won 2 in a row. Maybe it's not as weird. Better. Maybe it's not as weird as I'm making it seem. All right. Yeah. And maybe the line move is because of some goalie stuff, right? You said the goalies aren't confirmed for the Caps yet?
Yeah, I would think Lindgren would start, but I don't know. I know Forsberg got confirmed for the Sens, so we'll see when that officially drops.
All right. What about Chicago, Carolina? Big old number. Carolina laying minus 500. Surely that pays out.
Yeah, surely. I was looking at this total. It's total moving 6.5 to 6 or 6 to 6.5 is odd, and even it's open 5.5 some places like a while ago. But That didn't make much sense to me because I know the Blackhawks are coming off of. I mean, they got very fortunate that the whole Lightning team was sick, including Vasi, and they won outright in Tampa. Now they're going to Carolina against another sick, injured team because Sebastian Aho has got the flu now, and God knows how many more people are going to get it and be late scratched in this game. But that total going up with all that involved, and obviously, like the ML is not getting any shorter for the Canes either. It's probably Canes offense scoring quite a bit to carry maybe an over.
All right. So instead of laying the minus 500, maybe we back some points, some goals in this game.
So hoping they put up some more squares for like Kakanyemi, the guy who's going to be stepping in for Aho. But I think we just have demons right now. We'll see if that changes.
Okay. You got a read on your Lightning today against the Kings. Two teams with solid records, two teams who are good, but have been kind of struggling of late, I'd say, to say the least. Honestly, both teams have lost 4 of their last 5 games.
Yeah, the Bolts have been, I mean, super injured, super sick. They've been on the road for like literally half the month. So it's been frustrating. But now today, Vasi was already sick against the Blackhawks. I don't know his status today. It's going to be game time. Johansson, the backup goalie, is physically hurt, so he's going to be out. And they called up a goalie from the AHL, Matt Tompkins, which is kind of indicating to me that they don't feel all that confident that Vasi can start tonight. So you can be damn sure I will not be putting coin on the Lightning. I will let that splooge.
Okay. All right. Anything in Winnipeg, Boston? The Jets laying a big old number against the Bruins? Not that big, but still
not huge. Not huge. I kind of lean Boston in that one. It's kind of a big spot for them because they start a road from now until the All-Star break or Four Nations break, whatever you want to call it, in 2 weeks against really tough teams. Like this is the first one. And not only is it a spot after them getting embarrassed 7-2 on the road by the Sabres last game, but they also got embarrassed the first time they played the Jets. I think it was around like Thanksgiving. It was 8-1 in that game. So, I mean, if there's any bounce back spot that's pretty important in that clubhouse, it's probably got to be this one.
Yeah, I'd say so. All right. Maybe it's the Bruins in that spot. I'll probably stay off with that line move, but makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I really like the Canadians today, but after you kind of breaking it down, Wild are banged up. They're on a back-to-back. Maybe that line's not as weird.
I think the line's weird. I'm not taking the Wild, though.
All right. Islanders and the Flyers.
I can't get this game out of my head because there's something odd here. And I really haven't decided of how I want to attack it, of whether I just wanted to go Flyers or goals. Because the Flyers, I mean, they're obviously the Islanders are really hot right now, playing fantastic hockey. The Flyers got shut out 5-0 by the Devils yesterday in a rematch. And now they're playing on a back-to-back, which frankly, even though they're at home, I think the line is quite short for a team playing on a back-to-back after getting shut out 5-0 by the Devils, but separate conversation. This feels odd because I think this is where their offense kind of has to bounce back, and I wouldn't mind a stab at goals because the Islanders, I guess the part that does make a little bit of sense, they're pretty banged up / sick themselves, but most of it is in the defense side of things. So like the Flyers, if you're coming off of getting shut out, you're at home and playing a team that's playing fantastic hockey, and you've got, granted, I mean, Arson's not much better, but you got a goalie not worth a shit in net. I would assume you're going to be pretty aggressive on a back-to-back because what the hell do you have to lose in that situation? So, like, kind of think their offense is going to show some life today, and I think it's pretty odd that they're priced where they are, too, off of back-to-back and getting shut out. It's their team total is minus 150, the over 2.5.
Wow.
Which was really strange to me. So I might go over in that game. I might go Flyers, but kind of hinges on them showing a pulse.
Yeah, I mean, this game opened up around a pick'em.
Yeah, and the Flyers are like the notorious, like one of the worst back-to-back teams in NHL history in a stretch. Which is I would have expected the Isles to be minus 150 at open, minus 160. Really short.
All right, one of those cases where I think the opener more important than the closing line. Flyers opening up a pick'em in this one. Pretty fucking weird.
Pretty odd, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Flyers ML plus chicken. Sign me up.
Yeah, maybe a little over. Maybe I'll split it up.
Okay. Anything in Anaheim and Calgary here?
I would love to back Wolf, but I don't know. The Ducks offense is firing on all cylinders right now. It's like I think they can hold them down a little bit for the Flames. Whenever they play a team, they can just rip on. They kind of play the game a little slower, but I don't want to fade the Ducks until they cool down a little bit.
Okay. All right. Couple more here. We got Detroit at Edmonton. Edmonton laying almost 300. You got anything to play in this one?
No, I'm good. Good on that.
Yep. Figured. Couple late night Geysermans. You were on the over 6.5.
VGK. Yeah.
In the Vegas game, sure. And then San Jose, Seattle. Late night tonight. Looks like San Jose's catching some steam.
He probably should have. I was talking with the Jen earlier, and I kind of got convinced because I think he likes the Kraken. I might have gotten there too. This line is, I would say, pretty fat after looking at it for a little bit, talking it through. They're almost, I hate minus 190s, but they're right around that price. Not only after, I mean, the Kraken have just been awful. They've been on a horrendous downstretch. They just got punked by the Ducks in a game where Grubauer was Grubauer, and that was when he got released. So, I mean, he was in net. And also, I forget exactly when this was, but they played consecutive days, the Sharks and the Kraken did, and the Sharks won both of those games, and they put up like 12 combined goals in the two games.
Oh,
so, like, now
it's crazy
coming back, seeing the Kraken minus 200 just about when they're also playing significantly worse than they were at that point seems incredibly telling, especially when I know it's no Grubauer, but you have Askarov on the other side of the net or other side of the ice, and he's been great for the most part. Had a couple pretty rough starts, but he's coming off of a good one. So Kraken might be alive in this one by bet.
Yeah, it's probably why they're almost laying -2.
Yeah.
All right. W ice coverage. Do we have a second to talk about the association?
Of course.
What the Whiz Kids at home against the Lakers tonight?
I don't know if I can bet on the Wizards, Krabs.
They should not be bet on ever. They are that bad. They're tanking.
I've done a fantastic job of staying away from the Wizards, at least on the books.
Good. I feel like the Wizards were pretty popular yesterday, weren't they?
They were, yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
Today could be the day.
See, this is just also the Lakers' first full game without AD, which scares me because they also, I mean, it happened towards the start of the game against the Sixers, but that was the game to, I think, get them on the road as favorites that were shorter than they probably should have been. So I don't want to fade them in this one.
You want to take Jordan Poole after maybe the worst game in NBA history?
You know I don't, Krabs. I frankly don't.
Are there any Wizards that you want to maybe back in this one?
I mean,
want to run it back with Bub?
Yeah, I mean, off a back-to-back, he's probably going to get some more meaningful run. But
he didn't play much last night. I think he played tonight.
Yeah,
right?
Could be. I wouldn't be shocked. You also got former Laker Kyle Kuzma suiting up.
Wow. Kuzma playing a meaningful game.
Yeah, you know he's going to be chucking.
Points. Yeah. He'll be chucking.
He'll be chucking.
Yeah, but I'm not betting the Wizards. No chance. Can't be
if I felt a little more confident in them keeping it close, the Wizards, I would just square up and take LeBron. Take LeBron everything. Because whenever Anthony Davis is not on the floor, that's when he's on triple-double watch every single game.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, not only is there no AD on the floor, but you're playing a super undersized team in the Wizards that can't guard the paint, can't rebound the ball, can't stop you or any of the shooters from him getting assists. I mean, if this is somewhat close, I mean, LeBron's going to have a masterclass game.
LeBron triple-double, only plus 280. Okay.
I mean, rightfully so, I guess.
Are we going to see Bronny James on the court tonight? Or does he only plays in home games? for the Lakers.
Well, no, he played against the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting cooked. He had Tyrese Maxey ISOing him every single play, every single trip down the court, which was hilarious.
You might see Bronny tonight.
We probably will.
I'm not going to lie. We saw Bronny 9 days ago in LA at the end of that game. I saw him go in, check in. People are going nuts in the stands. Yeah, if he checks into this game, that means the Wizards got absolutely blown out again, but wouldn't be shocked. No Alex Sarr again tonight. He's low-key been playing pretty good. That's going to hurt the Wiz kids tonight. It's going to be all Valanciunas down low in the paint. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that should be.
At least there's no AD.
That should be fun.
At least there's no AD to deal with.
I will say,
Okay.
as fun as it is to talk about Bronny, it's so absurd that he gets so much hate when all the guys that are drafted around him and all the guys that get drafted in the late second round are flipping burgers.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah. At least he's there.
I know.
All right, let's talk about this Minnesota-Utah game again, because now that I look at the spread, it's down to 6 for the Jazz here. So maybe we're seeing some of these guys are going to play for the Jazz who are potentially going to be ruled out. I don't know, but good sign for Jazz backers here at home. And I guess it could be good for your 3 square if this game's going to be a little more competitive than people would initially expect.
Yeah, that could be great for getting health on health in this game.
Looks like John Collins and Walker Kessler both ruled in for this contest tonight.
That's huge.
All right. Does not make me want to buy the good news and take him on the spread anymore, but I already did beforehand. I certainly like that Anthony Edwards 3 square. Maybe I just ride that and stay tapped in the game. No need to back the Jazz at home here. That's like backing the Wizards. It's the same bet.
Fair.
Right? Although both of those are looking at me funny, and I'll tell you what, one of those 2 teams, Wizards or Jazz, I'm going to cover that game.
Yeah.
And the other one's going to lose by 50. Okay? So good luck picking. Jovan, another game that kind of caught my eye. I almost thought about putting it in the Sharp Report. How about the Grizzlies catching some line respect against one of the hottest teams in the NBA, the Rockets, who've ripped off 4 straight wins. They've actually beaten the Grizzlies 4 of the last 5 times they played, including a matchup a couple weeks ago when they beat them at Houston by only 2. They didn't cover that game, but they beat them. Now Memphis has their chance to get their lick back, and their spreads moved from -2.5 to -4.5 at home.
Yeah, it looks somewhat sharp. I don't want to be the one getting involved in fading the Wizards, or fading the Rockets. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll let that splooge, especially with, I mean, if Ja doesn't get his points today, all of Twitter's homeless.
He's also a game time decision. Like, he's not even confirmed yet.
Which, I mean, regardless of the Twitter POD of maybe the year, I would so much rather take Desmond Bane, but that's a whole different discussion. Like, Twitter is legit going to be eating ramen out of a box if Ja doesn't get his points today. Like, it's probably the most public one I've seen in quite a few weeks. So we'll see how that ends. Not that I disagree with it, but it's a little scary back in the Grizzlies when that's the case.
Did you take Bane's points?
Yeah, I kind of want to. And I mean, if we take it now and Ja ends up not even playing, I mean, fantastic. WCLV.
That could be WCLVs. Okay. Yeah, pretty weird that we're seeing the Grizzlies catch steam, in my opinion, with Ja not even confirmed to play, but maybe that means they know. Maybe they're in the locker room and they think he is going to lace him up. But either way, Memphis getting some respect on national TV tonight definitely caught my eye. I like the Grizzlies against the Rockets, but TBD if I have the nuts to fade the Red Hot Rockets.
Yeah.
All right. Orlando, Portland late night. That's a moose game. Portland's been on fire, though.
Yeah. Portland's been playing fantastic ball as dogs a lot. And I know, I forget just who was playing in that game. That was, I think, a couple weeks ago. I'm trying to find it, but I think it was one of the first games where Paolo and Franz were back playing for the Magic, and the Trailblazers, they were dogs. It was like right before they played the Heat too, and they beat the hell out of them outright. I'm pretty sure. It's like, I would not mind this being the Magic on the road.
Right.
Get a little kickback from that game.
Huh. I mean, I would love to fade the Trailblazers. They've been piping hot. They're coming off of their Super Bowl where they just beat Damian Lillard coming in with his new team, right? So that's a perfect fade spot.
That was a lot more recent than I thought, I guess. That
Yep.
Portland game, that was exactly a week ago when they're -7, didn't even put up 80 points. Got beat by 22 when the Blazers were 7-point dogs.
We're finding some good straight bets today, aside from the Sharp Report. This is giving me good vibes for the squad ride poll later. We got some ammo for tonight.
You getting good vibes in the Europa League today, Krabs?
No, I don't give a hoot about the Europa League. I'll be honest. How did the pitch cake go yesterday? I know that under hits, we went 1-1 on those two plays.
Yeah,
the under 2.5 hits,
up and down.
And the draw was a terrible play. But what about the rest of the slate?
How'd
it go?
I mean, it was pretty up and down, I guess, other than that. Over didn't hit. ML hit in the other game. And then squares were probably 50-50. But it was a pretty fun slate to watch. It's the same exact thing today, just on a little lower of a scale, because it's like the JV league of the same thing.
Okay, it's still pretty cool though. Some action today for the Peeps.
It is
starting
really
at 3 p.m.
cool.
Eastern again.
Yes,
very cool.
I
do like the million games at once trick that they do. It reminds me a little bit of March Madness. I know these games are staggered, but March Madness, you got like fucking 20 games going on at once. It feels like it's almost overwhelming. Kind of what it reminds me of on the pitch these last couple of days. Action packed. All right.
Yeah, it's super fun. So I've got some sneak plays.
Yeah, I scrolled through the scores for the games after they finished yesterday because I was curious after we talked about them, and I saw a lot of points, saw a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And Arda Gelato's saying in chat, wow. He's saying in chat, we're going to get a crazy amount of goals again today. What do you think, Jovan? Are we going to get same vibes from yesterday, or do you think we're going to get a little bit of a correction?
Well, so it's a similar structure to the point of where like certain teams need goals, certain teams don't care. So like from teams that need to score, they're in all likelihood going to score. So like it should be relatively similar. Some lower quality teams, but we'll see some overs. I haven't looked at too many overs, but taking some sides for sure. Taking some sides. Galatasaray making his way to Turkey with Chagad. Huge.
I used to make FIFA teams with all Galatasaray guys.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
I know.
That's
the Turkish League was fire.
That's unbelievable. Well, for people who are interested in sneak pitch plays, FCSB +0.5 is on the card, and Bodo draw no bet is on the card. So we're taking sneak sweats.
Plays.
People want to get involved.
All right. Any Jersey plays today, Goots? From Flatwoods fella?
Jersey plays. A Jersey play from Goods could be huge.
Interestingly, the team I took yesterday, Celtic, lost, but their rival, the Glasgow Rangers, right here, playing. Wow. So maybe we got to go back and fade their rival.
Rangers in Big 2-5.
I don't know a single thing about the team they're playing, but I mean, might have to
all right, Goots. Fucking dialed on the pitch today, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Dialed.
All
right. Well, we got about 10 minutes left. What else you guys want to go over? I'm down to spend some more time on the squad ride today and make sure we go back to back.
We definitely need some time on it.
All right. Let's fire it up then, Gootsy. Go ahead and run that shit. I want to see that train. W's. All right, gents. Great play last night with that over in Bama, Mississippi State. Jovan, great work. Also, Josh Hubbard's him. I want to go ahead and get that on record.
Dude.
He tweaked.
He had an absolute masterclass.
Bad L for Mississippi State at home last night. But that's a team that I feel like could turn up in March. They got a good defense. They got a good coach. They're due. And they had one absolute beast of an offensive player.
Dude,
still getting better every week.
That was one of the best performances I've seen all year from a player.
I could see some of those performances in March, maybe him carrying his team.
Yeah, 100%.
Leaning on defense and Hubbard carrying the squad offensively. Okay. Great play last night, Jovan. Seriously, great work. We've got a lot of options for today. We got some Sharp Report plays. We got some other plays that we kind of came up with and talked through during the slate. So maybe right now we pick our favorites from the Sharp Report if we have them. And then we could talk through some of these other plays we kind of, came across during today's craft sesh.
I mean, I would say my favorite's Tulane by a good bit.
You don't got to tell me twice.
What's going on with Justin Tucker Goots? I need to see that.
Oh no. What's going on with Justin Tucker Goots?
Is he crashing out
Why
on
are
feed or
people
something?
freaking out in chats? Oh no. I'm sure we'll get the report from Gootsy here in a moment. Oh no.
Oh, thanks for playing.
What is he doing, Goots?
Deshaun
Some
Watson.
massage therapist.
Deshaun
Oh,
Watson,
no.
Justin Tucker.
Oh no.
We'll be seeing.
Goots.
Acting like it's my fault? I don't know.
You're
I
held
hate to hear
responsible for this
this.
behavior.
Goots, I hate to hear this. I'm serious.
Yeah, me too.
That's not good. I hope it's fake. A lot of weirdos out there, man. What the fuck is wrong with people? All right. Anyways, let's lock in. All right, we do have a very important task today, right, Jovan, right, Goots? We got to craft back-to-back squad ride W's. Let's stay dialed. We're putting Tulane in here. No questions asked. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right.
Yeah. Where's your meet at for these games?
Nebraska.
Okay. I can live with that.
Can you?
Yeah. I trust.
Promise?
I trust.
Okay. I'm loving Nebraska. I think Canadians, after you talk through it, not as weird as I initially thought, still love it. But it's also very juicy. Okay. Hofstra, I think, is a really good play as well, but I'm not going to put meat on tape for that against an Elon team that's been playing some really good ball.
Okay.
All right. I think it's Nebraska's, man. I really do. That's my favorite play today. The only reason it's last is because of I put mine in based off of time.
Chronological. So, noted good guy Krabs. Yeah, you can put him in. I have no problem. I'll trust.
All right. Let's put Nebraska in. I got a weird feeling. And they're down to 3.5, I think. Most places, which you guys know what I think. Screw the CLV. Give me the worst number. It's great vibes. Has to be done. I'm going to make sure I'm seeing all 3.5s here. And I'm not just making shit up here. Yeah, a lot of 3.5s floating around. Good. Let's put that puppy in there. Now, Jovan, we talked through a bunch of plays, so I'll throw a couple at you. We'll go league by league. Okay, I want to start with the NBA. The one play that I can't get out of my brain, and now I'm seeing them up to -5, is the Grizzlies, man. But I know you said you don't want to fade the Rockets. I'm okay leaving this one out, but I had to bring it back up again. I mean, Grizzlies -5. After they just lost to this team, and they're coming off a loss in their last game. They're playing the hottest team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
I won't talk you off of it. I was expecting you to go Magic, which is a similar scenario, except they're on the road.
Yep. And I was going to get there. That's definitely next up. I wanted to check and see if there were any John Morant updates. Looking at the spread moving and grooving. Again,
that's what I'm a little nervous about.
Iffy. He's iffy.
I'm a little nervous that there's going to be some injuries, maybe on both sides, but especially Jaw in that game. And I also just hate having coin on the Grizzlies against the Rockets when the whole world's on jaw points. That I just can't. I don't know if I can sleep at night. If that's the case.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm okay with leaving that one out.
Speaking of Lockmouth in chat.
Do have Lockmouth in the chat. It was a great ride, Krabs. You guys will be good for years to come. Yeah.
Might need a Flyers pulse from Lock.
Yeah, Lockmouth. Are the Flyers a live dog?
I need it.
On the ice tonight? I know you're not going to tell us anything differently, but can you at least confirm? Please. And yeah, our squads are going to be going head-to-head for the next decade, Lockmouth.
Take the over. Perfect.
Eagles and Commies.
That's where the head was at.
Ooh. Take the over.
That's what I love in that game, dude.
Okay, well, before we tread away from the NBA, give me 1 second here, Jovan, because I don't want to let that Orlando play get swept. If you're not going to give me the Grizz with a iffy jaw, which
I won't tell you no on the Grizz. If you like the Grizz enough more than the Magic, I'll tip cap and I'll eat that one. I'd be down because I'm not taking the Rockets.
I'm good with Orlando -5.
Okay.
We'll put that in there for now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can go to the ice. Magic -5 on the road, facing off against a team who is literally piping hot, coming off their Super Bowl, the biggest win probably of their season. it's a mandatory fade spot. No need to overthink it there.
Has to be.
No need. All right, let's go to the ice. A Flyers over, you say?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which,
You like
truthfully,
that better than their ML?
I do. I think they both have to hit for the same reason, because I do not think. I mean, I don't have much faith in Fedotov, so I think you're gonna have to score to win, even though they're without Owen Tippett in all likelihood today.
Yep.
It's just the spot. I mean, the line is extremely short, I would say, for them in the game. You got them coming off a shutout against the Devils. They're on a back-to-back playing the Red Hot Islanders. You're probably going to have to score to win.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at that Sorokin goals allowed square as well. I got no qualms taking this over.
That Sorokin goals allowed square is incredible. That's like, I would say that's even weirder than Logan Thompson.
Wow.
Because, again, whole situationally, you got arguably the best player on the offense not playing today. They're coming off a shutout yesterday, and Sorokin's been dialed, and the Isles are one of the hottest teams in the league. That square is incredibly telling.
Yeah, that's weird. All right, let's put that over in there. Islanders and Flyers. What number are you seeing? 5.5?
Yeah, it's 5.5. And truthfully, that probably would have been on here instead of the VGK over if I had decided which way I was going to play it yet between the Flyers and or the over.
Good to know. That's the kind of factoid we need to hear before we get to the poll. All right, anything else on the ice that you're absolutely in love with?
No, I'm not dying. Not dying for anything else.
And then were there any other CBB plays? I feel like there was one that we came across. And I know we got plenty of options today, but was there a nasty CBB play? What was that under that we couldn't stop talking about earlier? There was an under that we fell in love with.
It's a late night under, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Washington State game.
Yes, dudes.
That one might be even a little too nasty, I think, to put in the poll.
I think it's just nasty enough.
Wow.
I think it's literally just nasty enough. It's exactly what we need to close this puppy out.
All right. Put it on.
Unless you hate its guts.
I mean, I don't feel like incredibly confident in it, but I don't hate its guts either.
Well, I fell in love with it when you were talking about how weird it is seeing this total lower after both teams put up nearly 100 points in that first matchup. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's take it. It's lower total round 2. These teams stink. Let's take the under and fade these offenses after that splooge fest. Okay. All right. Let's go Washington State Pacific under 149.5. And that will wrap up our squad ride poll here.
Boss battle, me betting on Hawaii, Trent on the other side. Who wins? I think I might even give the nod to Trent if that were to happen.
Yeah. Chat, bet accordingly. UCSD could be a late night missile.
Could be a
on
mega.
the rock. Okay. Matt Gauthier says Tulane. Chat, we got 5 plays, 5 winners. W. Gootsy getting the poll up. Absolutely killing it today on the back end for BTL. Can we get some W. Gootses in the chat, please? Can we gas my man's up? 5 plays, 5 winners for today's slate. Can we go back-to-back on the squad rides? Please, for the love of God, click the right button. I believe in you guys. I trust you guys. You've been trained up enough. You know what's sharp. You know what's hitting. I believe. I still trust the squad rides. And look, betting's a roller coaster, guys. I know 2025 has not been the best start for the squad rides, but a big-time momentum shifting cash last night could be exactly what the doctor ordered as we head into closing out January. Okay, 5 plays, 5 winners. Tulane plus 6.5. You got Nebraska plus 3.5. How about the Magic? Minus 5.5. Islanders, Flyers over. And the Washington State Pacific under. Talk about a diversified portfolio.
That is, incredibly diverse card.
It's giving me great vibes for today. We put in work. We grinded. We diversified. I think we got some nasty plays in there. We got some plays in there people can square up with. We got all the leagues. No excuses today.
Dude,
we got to lock in and click the right button here, chat.
All this, even on a shit card, is pretty impressive.
It is. I think we're kind of dialed today.
Yeah, and we get to start the day with some pitch, too. Love that.
And Pacific just set the record for least points scored in a game. They put up 6 points, and they've done
that. That one's either going to be air one way or another. It's going to end on like
We'll know early on
130,
that.
or it's going to end with 200 again.
Yep. Hoffy, favorite ML piece on the ice? For me, it's without a doubt the Canadians. I feel like for Jovan, it might be the Flyers, but I don't want to speak for him.
No, because I guess I'm kind of set on that over now. Honestly, it's probably the Kraken. I hate that, but it's probably the Kraken.
And it's going to be Tulane tonight, plus 6.5 on the spread. Jovan, not going to lie, after talking through all these winners and plays, it's kind of what I wanted to win. And I was ecstatic to see that play on your sharp report today. You don't even know. Almost did a backflip.
Penny Hardaway, come out to play, brother.
Sure. Yeah, let's go Tulane. Keep this one close within a touchdown at home. Dead Larry Bird, I do like Campbell, but I don't like that line move. So I'll probably stay off that one. But I do like the Camels in that spot. All right, chat. Do me a favor. Stick around for the Surge stream. Pitch Rav, the best sell job, your favorite play today. Show some heart, show up. All right, look him in the eyes, give him some solid eye contact, and feed him a winner. Please. All right? Prize Pick Square, book play, whatever it is. Spoon feed Rav a winner on the Surge stream right after this. Stick around. And if you guys haven't copped your Bookit scripted hats already, we'll drop the link one more time here in the chat for you guys. Get involved. All right, cop them. Very low inventories for all 5 colors. Get your hat, support the squad, look fresh for Super Bowl weekend. If you can order it now, there's a chance it gets there by then. Get involved. Get involved. All right, they're so fresh. Chat, great show today. Jovan, great work. Gucci, as always, absolutely killed it today. We'll catch you gents tomorrow, same time, same place.
Will be.